Hello, everybody. My name is Zain Naqvi. I am the co-founder at Alter. Alter is essentially one of the earliest companies to venture into Web3 from Pakistan. We primarily operate from Pakistan, the UK, and Germany. Obviously, because of regulation issues, we had to take a different path. We only couldn't operate from just Pakistan. So what we are essentially is, do we have any Lord of the Rings fan? Anybody who knows what Lord of the Rings is? Any fans of Lord of the Rings? No fans at all? Two, three, okay, great. So just like Gandalf, there are two other wizards who are known as Altar in that universe. And they are the wizards who went to the east to fight the dark forces and were never heard of from again. So that's where the name Altar comes from. But it's also altar, like to present something. Essentially, we are a Web3 lab. We work with different products, we work with different teams, we work with different artists, essentially taking their work from emerging economies, MENA regions, North Africa, Asia, and taking it to the actual metaverse or Web3 space. The gentlemen just who were in the panel here before were talking about many metaverses and what's been happening. And yes, they are right that there are a lot of metaverses out there, and there's a lot of work being done. But what's important to understand is that we, being from the area that we are in, being South Asians, whatever our religion is, whatever our color is, we need to make a mark in the metaverse because it needs to reflect who we are. It needs to reflect people like us. If we are not there, nobody is going to do that for us. So we need to understand that irrespective of this debate, that who is going to win or who isn't going to win, we need to do that. So India did this brilliantly during the dot-com bubble. We still call it a bubble, but we all are witness to history itself, that what happened, those who survived are the current CEOs and CFOs and CEOs. So can we get the presentation started? I went on a rant, actually. All right, so I've given the, next slide, please. So when I sent in the title for this presentation, मुझे कोई 7 लोगों ने बताया कि आपके spelling गलत हैं, build नहीं होता, build होता है. So, but in the Web3 space, those who are aware know that there are terms like hodl, there are terms like wagme, उसी तरह biddle भी एक term है. So for somebody who entered the NFT space back in 2020, for somebody who had been part of the startup ecosystem for a little while, we were a little early. So today I'm going to talk about, what happens when you have a product, when you've built something. So a lot of my peers, a lot of my contemporaries are still on their early journeys where they're developing something. But I am slightly in a different position because we've developed products, we've developed projects, and we've already sold them. So now the problem that we are facing is, okay, what is next? Next slide, please. So yeah, coming back to Gandalf. So the biggest question, like at times that I get working from Pakistan, is this sheer pushback about Web3. Yes, we do not have policies, but then we don't have policies for a lot of things here. So should we just stop doing them altogether? I mean, should we just give up on that? I mean, we all do stuff that is, beyond the moral or social scope of Pakistan, so why not Web3? Next slide, please. A little about me and my co-founder. We are both early adopters of the Yuga Labs Bored Ape, Yacht Club ecosystem. So that helps us get, to things much more faster rather than, let's say, another company in this space. And we've done a lot of work. My partner is a banker. Obviously, I come from a design background. I'm a hardcore designer. I can talk branding, culture. And the reason I am in the space is not because of money. And I know it might be very weird to say that, but the thing is I'm here for the culture. Because if, as I said earlier, if our culture is not represented in the metaverse, I don't think anybody else is going to do that for us. But being a little practical and having failed on a couple of startups before this, I was actually intelligent enough to get a co-founder who's an ex-banker on board, so he can stop me from making the mistakes that otherwise a creative slash designer person like me would make. Next slide, please. I don't know how many of you remember, but last year we became infamous for selling a meme from Pakistan that was known as Friendship Ended. We sold it for almost $50,000. Don't ask me who bought it. You can read up about it on 20,000 newspapers have covered it. But the idea was that usually culture, even internet culture, flows from west to the east. So no matter how kitschy the meme was, we were trying to change the direction of the flow. So what we did was we started producing stuff here that goes from east to the west. Similarly, a lot of you might know Sarim Akhtar. He's known as the disappointed meme guy. His project is there. I'm not mentioning the dollar amount of the sale. I'm mentioning the project percentage because I do not believe in huge numbers. That I'm not going to quote a number of how much we made. So rather how much was minted. So we did Defense. Defense was a free mint project, one of the earliest free mint projects in the space before free mints were cool. So if there is one thing that we suffer from, it's usually being the first one to do something. Next slide, please. Then there are other projects in our ecosystem. Caller Intelligence Agency, one of the earliest Web3 NFT projects, came around the same time as Bored Ape Yacht Club. Similarly, Ape Harbour. Ape Harbour is the world's first verified metaverse shipyard. अब आप पूछेंगे shipyard का क्या काम है metaverse में? But the thing is, there is a huge industry, which is the global yachting industry, and no project was catering to that. So that is essentially what we've been doing. We've been catering to the hospitality industry through this specific project. These all are minted out. They've made good amounts in Ethereum, back when Ethereum was at 3,000 something. So that is not really a problem. And secondly, some person here just mentioned Decentraland. Under Ape Harbour, we are one of the biggest holders of land in Decentraland, And we own the same land as Adidas. So I don't know if it's a huge achievement, but it is a huge achievement for a project that is 30% Pakistani, 70% German in its DNA, owning the same amount of digital land in the metaverse as Adidas, because Adidas is a huge company. Next slide, please. Currently, we are working on a project called Little Town Cats. Our idea is that South Asia, MENA regions, North Africa still have a lot of people that can come on board into the NFT space. Because there are a lot of crypto adoption happening everywhere, but the understanding of the metaverse is a little, all over the place. So our idea is to provide a project that is easy to enter, that does not rely on making quick money and getting out, like what a lot of founders have done, and can provide, the users with a identity of sort that can be their primarily, that can be their primary identity in the metaverse. Next slide, please. Over the years, our network has grown. So, we are already part of the Foundation ecosystem. Foundation is a marketplace that essentially works with collectors and artists. It is essentially trying to become the Windows of Web3. For those of you, I'm just trying to make an easy analogy there. We also have other projects such as Anthros, Lucidia, Mutant Cartel, one of the biggest NFT holders / event organizers in the UK. Bored Ape Yacht Club, obviously. Wicked Whales is Binyamin Ahmed's project. Binyamin is one of the youngest NFT entrepreneurs in the world. He did this project when he was 12 years old, made about 2.5 million, if I am quoting that correctly, and still working super hard. They are also the founders of NFT UK. And then we have Laid Back Llamas, one of the biggest projects to come out of Taiwan. This is essentially the project that a lot of Chinese marketplaces are integrating. And lastly, we have NF Heroes. NF Heroes, for those who are interested in animation and comics, is a decentralized comic book and animation platform. So this is our network that we've developed over the last 2 years. And just the thought that I want to leave everybody with is, can you go on to the next slide, please? Okay, so the thought that I want to leave everybody with is that we are currently talking about, I think we're currently debating on the wrong points. We are talking right now about what to build, you know. While I would like to, you know, welcome every single builder, creative artist in the room, or developer or techie, to come in and just start building. Because the thing is that once you're here, you understand the dynamics better. If we're sitting outside of the ecosystem and we are talking about random things, it's not really going to help. So somebody taught me, you know, a long time ago, one of my mentors, that the only way people are going to listen to you is if you have a seat at the table or if you have your own table. So, I mean, right now, the only way to go forward about this is either Pakistan and South Asia, we become part of the global debate and we adopt things that are happening globally. Or if we want to revolutionize and do things from the get-go, we take a totally different turn. Because here's the thing, the metaverse is here. You know, AI is here. Whether it's dark or not, that's a totally different thing. So that's about it. Thank you for having me, everybody. Thank you for your time.